So I started using the Bombardiers over a year ago now, and these beautiful pants with bongos attached to them quickly became one of my favorite exotics in Destiny 2. So today I bring you guys 5 reasons why the Bombardiers are actually an amazing exotic that I think any kind of player can use effectively and enjoy. Alright, let's get straight into this. Now, if you don't know what the Bombardiers do, well, when dodging, you leave behind a bomb that explodes after a short delay, damaging targets around it and creating a secondary effect based on your subclass energy type. Now, we'll get a lot more into this secondary effect in just a minute, but first off, I want to start off with probably the least known thing about the Bombardiers. So for the first reason, you know that bomb you leave behind when dodging? Well, that little guy can actually block projectiles. So that means you can literally block a rocket launcher shot just by dodging. Now, to be honest, you're probably not going to end up blocking rockets that often, but you will probably end up blocking things like shotgun shots or even just a random primary weapon shot now and then, which can end up saving you, especially since you usually dodge to get away from someone, so that bomb will be right in the way of fire. Now, this is probably the least important thing about the Bombardiers, but it can save you now and then, and it's just really satisfying when you do actually end up blocking something with that bomb. The Bombardiers literally turns your dodge into an extra way to do damage and debuff enemies. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand how helpful it can really be to turn your fastest recharging ability into pretty much another grenade. And sure, you need to be in close range to actually do damage with it, but I mean, a dodge is kind of the perfect thing to be up close with. I mean, one of the dodges literally requires you to be near enemies to get your melee recharged while you dodge. Like for PvE, the Bombardiers are perfect for instant killing a bunch of minor enemies, and against stronger enemies, it'll leave them hurt and debuffed, allowing you to deal with them a lot easier. Now, in PvP, the Bombardiers can do up to 120 damage, so that's literally taking away over half of someone's health just by dodging. Now, it can seem kinda situational, but you'd be amazed at how many fights and even games where there seemed to be no chance left of winning, then the Bombardiers completely annihilate the enemy and save the day. Now, probably the thing that the Bombardiers do the best is completely shutting down aggressive players, since all you have to do is dodge away, and then they just run straight into the bomb, which is going to take away the majority of their health while also leaving them with a debuff, which can completely turn the tides into your favor. Also, that high damage that the Bombardiers do makes it perfect to pair with things like glaives, dead messenger, slug shotguns, just a bunch of other stuff, so you can pretty much instantly kill somebody as they try to charge you. Alright, now for the secondary effect created by the bomb when it explodes. Now, this effect is going to depend on what subclass you have equipped. So like for Solar, the bomb's gonna Scorch, for Stasis, it slows, Void suppresses, and Arc, it's gonna blind. Now, I'll be quickly going over each one of these subclasses and how it pairs with the Bombardiers and show you guys what kind of amazing combinations you can make with these things. So first, let's quickly get the Stasis effect out of the way because it's my personal least favorite, mostly because I don't even have Stasis for Hunter, so I haven't actually been able to try it out. But there's still some cool things you can actually do with it, like pair it with the aspect Winter's Shroud, so enemies get slowed when you dodge, so they can't really escape the bomb as easily, then they'll just get slowed again. And then there's also some fragments that can be paired with it too. Now let's go over the Solar effect, which is probably the most unique one out of them all, because instead of disabling your enemies, you're dealing more damage to them with the Scorch effect. And you can literally make them explode if you're able to apply enough Scorch stacks by hitting them with another ability at the same time. And this makes Solar by far the best effect for easily clearing out groups of enemies, and it has by far the most mods, weapons, weapon perks, abilities, aspects, and fragments you can pair with it, so you have an absolutely insane amount of options to make builds with. Alright, now for Void, which is special for a few reasons, like invisibility, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to get close to your enemies, to use the Bombardiers, and then also so you can get away after you dodge. Also, you now have an ability to suppress enemies other than a grenade that takes a really long time to recharge. And finally, the suppression effect pairs with the aspect Stylus Executioner, the exotic pulse rifle Collective Obligation, and the weapon perk Repulsor Brace, which all have a lot of synergy with each other, and the Bombardiers. And I used to not really care about Repulsor Brace at all. When I paired it with the Bombardiers and Stylus Executioner, it made for a Void build that felt really unique, fun, and useful for PvP or PvE. Now finally, Arc, which is honestly really disappointing because the blind effect isn't actually an arc blind effect, so it doesn't pair with arc effects at all. But even with that big downside, Arc is still my favorite subclass to pair with the Bombardiers. Since Arc Hunter can improve your melees and dodges with the aspects Lethal Current, Blow State, and with the melee ability Combination Blow, which is going to give you a stronger melee and is going to allow you to pretty much dodge and melee non-stop, which is obviously going to work really well with the Bombardiers. Also, there's going to be a new subclass coming out in Lightfall, so that's just going to bring us even more abilities to pair with the Bombardiers. So yeah, you're going to have a ton of options to choose from. And then that brings us into our next reason. The Bombardiers are one of the most diverse exotics in the game. One of the reasons I almost never take them off is because I really don't need to. I mean, it literally changes for every single subclass and allows for some insane build crafting with all of them. But at the same time, if you don't want to worry about making a build for the Bombardiers, you don't have to. You can just equip and forget and they're still going to be really helpful. Also, they can be effective in almost any activity, from the most casual PvP game or some public events, to the most intense trials match or raids and dungeons. You can really use them almost anywhere in Destiny. And while the Bombardiers are good in almost every activity, they're also not the strongest or easiest meta option for really any activity, and they probably never will be. But that's okay, because it means they're never really going to get nerfed, and in fact, they're probably only going to get better as time goes on and new abilities and such are added to the game. The Bombardiers are just a lot of fun to use. There's something so satisfying and enjoyable about them that just most other exotics don't bring to the table. Like the one time I did try another hunter exotic, as soon as I dodged and didn't see that bomb fly into the air, I felt complete and utter disappointment. So I made sure I would never, ever make that mistake again. Anyways, I do think you should at least try out the Bombardiers. They are a lot of fun. And also, while you're at it, why not try liking and subscribing, because it would mean a lot to me if you did. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.